Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam ahang vande Shri Gurun dinataranam. Nama Ong Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhakti Charu Swaminiti Namine. Nama Ong Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyabadi Pashtata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, I'm having difficulty with the sharing here, so I'll try again. I hope it works this time. Alright, hope it, there you go again. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Just give me 1 second. Okay, we'll try one more again. Let's see if it works this time. No, I don't know what's going on here. I have no clue. Okay, maybe in the meantime, what we should do is. Wait. What we should do is. Somebody should summarize. Well, I'm trying to figure this out. Somebody should try and summarize what we discussed yesterday. What are the main points? What did Krishna say? And what are the main points that came from both Krishna and the purport? We also read from Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan's Bhagavad commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. So we will also, I also want to hear about that. Who would like to volunteer? What this means to me is that yesterday I spent the whole day trying to explain things. But it went in one ear, the other ear. I don't understand. What's the problem?
Hello?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, I want to say something about what you taught yesterday.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yesterday, you talked about the Brahma night and Brahma day, amongst other topics,
Yes.
that all living entity come into existence in the Brahma day. And that when the Brahma night come, the living entity are annihilated.
Okay, but put that in context. So how does your statement fit within the whole section that we discussed yesterday? So yesterday, I think we did 20 to 21, 20 to 28. That was a section that we were discussing. We didn't finish the last verse, which is what we're going to do before we get into chapter 9. But yeah. So you're right. What you're saying, you're right. But I want context.
Yeah, I want to open my Bhagavad Gita.
What would be helpful if you remembered from memory? Otherwise, you're just going to read straight from the Gita. Anybody else? What do you remember from the purport? Purushottam Yatra Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Never.
Jai, all
So
glories to
yesterday
Prabhupada.
we spoke about when we went back to the 9, the 9:13, about 6 hours. And from there, we moved to the Yoga Mitra Bhatt, from there, 10:13 also. We talked about Yoga Mitra Bhatt, whereby we have the strength of yoga.
Purushottam, your voice is not clear. Your voice is not.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
It's better now. It's better now.
Okay,
Continue.
thank you very much. I was saying that Prabhu started talking about where Krishna was asking Arjuna's questions. In the text 10 or 10, 9, 10 to I think 12 or so. And then 10, the same 10 to 13 also was talking about the Yoga Mitra Bhakti.
Very good.
Whereby in the purport, one of the purport, Prabhupada was emphasizing on the Yoga Balena, the strength of yoga, that we should get the strength of yoga. And then from text 14 also, it was describing about pure devotional service, whereby, which is the supreme. And then Krishna comparing material world with the spiritual world. That is the text 14 to 17 to 22. So from 20 to 28 was all about attaining the supreme, and the description of the material world was, that is the little I can speak about yesterday's class.
Very good, very good, Purushottam Prabhu. You remembered the importance of the word yoga balena, which Prabhupada emphasizes. And anybody remembers what Prabhupada was emphasizing with the word yoga balena? And he himself, he said specifically, the word yoga balena is very significant. And when Prabhupada singles out a term to explain it, it means it's very important. And Prabhupada explained what it meant. So what does yoga balena mean? And what is its significance? Balabhadra Prabhu. Go ahead.
It seems I'm having problem here. I'm hearing Prabhuji is very lightly. It's not clear. Unless I use earpiece, I don't know what is the problem now.
He said that yoga balena is constant practice.
Yes.
And you mentioned that at the time of death, it's very difficult to remember Krishna, but because of our constant practice, you should not give it up. You should stick to the time. You mentioned about when you are taking prasadam, once you stick to the time, you should not miss the time. If you miss the time, you go, you're not allowed to eat, something like that. So by practicing yoga balena, so stick to the time and constant practice. So that will help us at the time of give up again at the time of death. So Krishna, by the grace of Krishna, we can remember Krishna. So we need about constant practice.
Yes, thank you, Balabhadra Prabhu. Yes. One Prabhupada explains one cannot expect himself to go back to Godhead without practicing. Right? We have to practice. We have to engage in Krishna consciousness actively. And much of how to engage in that Krishna consciousness is explained in the Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami. All right, so we'll finish the last two chapters. And then what we will do is we will go to the car park and see if there's any, because I think there were some questions in the car park. So we were doing the last two verses, right, of the Gita. All right. Okay, so 28. Vedeshu yageshu tapashu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tam sarvam idam vaditva yogi param sthanam utpaiti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attained all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme abode. So we covered this verse yesterday, how Bhakti, in the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami, he what he does there is that he explains that Bhakti is independent. Krishna consciousness is not dependent on birth, it's not dependent on philosophy, it's not dependent on jnana, it's not dependent on varnashram, it's independent. What is that verse? Krishna prema sadhya kabunai, shravanadi sadachite karai udhai. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami quotes Mahaprabhu, who's explaining that love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, is not something to be had from outside. So it's not like you're getting love of Godhead from outside, but it's something that's already there in the heart of every living being. And Shravan Adi, right? Through the process of Shravana, hearing, chanting, etc., the 9 processes of bhakti, then Cheto Darpana Madhanam, right? That dust that's that is covering the mind and the heart and the soul slowly gets cleansed, and one is able to see themselves clearly for what they are, right? So Krishna consciousness is not at all dependent on any bhakti. It's not a super, as Prabhupada, you know that famous I don't know if you want to call it it's not a lecture, it's a lecture, but it's like a quote, a powerful quote by Prabhupada himself. This Krishna consciousness is the most sublime process of, I know that, most devotees know that by heart. And even a dog can do it. You probably have seen it. Devotees have put it in music, into a music format. Even a dog can do it. Even a child can do it. The only qualification is that you cry out just like the baby is calling out for the mother. This is the Krishna consciousness. One of the best quotes ever. So it's not dependent on anything external. And this is also, we discussed this previously, where we explored the etymology of the word. Etymology means the origin of the word education. And we trace the word education to the Latin root educar. And educar means 2 things. See if I remember. The first thing, it means to mold the consciousness. And the other means to draw from within. So education in its essence also is a process of drawing out what is already in the heart of the living being. So education technically is not also a superimposition. And those that have gone through the academic process also know this system, that in universities there is what is called the filtering system, knowledge filtering system. If you're doing your PhD or your master's degree and your thesis or your dissertation doesn't fit within what is expected, what is accepted as knowledge, then you're told to go back to the drawing board, right? Because it doesn't fit the existing knowledge system. But so Krishna consciousness is not based on any of that. It's not based on birth. As I mentioned yesterday, you have these new philosophies that come around. Especially it's intensifying nowadays, especially given the issue of the female guru. Female Diksha gurus, the FDG issue. So it's bringing out a whole lot of interesting philosophies from different people, and some of it is very interesting. It, in a very subtle way, suggests that people of African origin are not qualified for bhakti. So these are the types of philosophies that you have to be careful to be able to discern, because when an intelligent person speaks, we tend to get too excited and just take everything they say without discrimination. And so we will accept philosophies that will also chain you to the walls if you're not careful. And the philosophy that Prabhupada has given us is, what is that from the Bhagavad Gita? The birth, Krishna consciousness is not based on birth, but on one's activities and psychophysical nature. But there is a growing trend, or there's a forceful trend rather, that's happening in ISKCON, where you find these types of statement made, and they don't make it very directly, they make it sideways. So as a student of the Bhakti Sastri, I'm also trying to help you to be able to tell, because when somebody sits on the Vyasasana and they say something, especially if they're a senior devotee, they're a sannyasi, a senior brahmachari, we tend to just absorb everything they say. That's not the process. That's not the process. The process is to analyze and compare what the person is saying based on Guru, Sastra, and Shadu. And then we can accept it and not be sentimentally attracted to flowery words that people will speak. I gave this example previously of one Brahmana who was living in Bengal, and he decided to go visit Jagannath Puri to go and present a play that he had written about Lord Jagannath to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very excited. So he walked all the way from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. And when he got there, he met the General Assembly of Devotees. He told them why he was there. He read them the play. Everybody was jumping up and down. Jai, Haribol, Gauranga, this is the best play we've ever had. Mahaprabhu will be very, very pleased with you. So he went to take this play to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but before he could do that, he had to go through Swarup Damodar, who was a secretary. And you know how secretaries are. They want to make sure that whatever goes to their Guru Maharaj is proper, not wasting time, no nonsense. So he read through it and he became very upset. He said, what is this? This is Mayavad philosophy. You are criticizing Lord Jagannath, disguising it as praise. So get out of here. This is Mayavad philosophy. Now I'm asking you, how is it that the rest of the assembly of the Vaishnavas, they read the same and they had the same play, and they were very happy about it. They thought it was the best thing ever written. And yet Swarup Damodar thought it was Mayavad philosophy. It's discernment. It's discernment. So you should also be able to listen, no matter how senior the Vaishnava is sitting on or speaking, you should be able to tell if what they're saying is consistent with our Siddhanta. Otherwise, we reject it. If Prabhupada didn't teach it, we reject it. So if you're not careful, if you're not careful, you are going to design a philosophy that ultimately ends with you in chains. So be very careful. And Prabhupada speaks about this in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, that blind acceptance is not acceptable. Blind acceptance is not acceptable. We have to engage with the Shastra. We have to see if what is being said is consistent with the Shastra. So all these things, basically the point is that bhakti is not dependent on any material consideration. None at all. And Krishna is saying here, giving charity, philosophical or fruitive activities, Krishna says, simply by performing devotional service, he attained all these. And at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. We see all these things. We've seen many, many times. Now I'll read you this in the purport. I'm struggling here. The light is very bad here, so just bear with me. The words idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Shri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees, like we are doing now. Chapter 7 through 12 are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like the coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle chapters, in the association of devotees. Now, Prabhupada is, if you notice, this is, I've jumped the previous paragraph, but this is, Prabhupada is repeating this point over and over, in the association of devotees. In the association of devotees. Then we will understand things properly. I mentioned yesterday, Prabhupada mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, that 99.9% of our spiritual advancement comes in the association of devotees. That we are delusional if we think that we can make spiritual advancement on our own without the devotees. It's simply the effect of the mind playing its tricks on you if it tells you like that. Because the mind can tell you, going to the temple is difficult. This person is like that. It's difficult. It's horrible. But in this material world, the only friends you have are the devotees, even if they are very difficult to deal with. The materialists are not your friends. All right, so and you read this in the Nectar of Instruction. Sangha, sangatyag. You have to give up materialistic association. And in the purport to that Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta, who says, reading too many literatures and newspapers, movies, and all these things also counts. So Prabhupada is repeating in the association. This is the second time now in less than 3 sentences. I'll read that again. The word, I'll repeat it again. So, and then this time I'll read the whole thing without. The word idam viditva indicates that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of the devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. Again, Prabhupada is emphasizing what? Association. Association. Should also be a theme, by the way. Association should be a theme, one of your Bhagavad Gita themes. What is association? What makes up good association? One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. Again, very short space of time, Prabhupada is repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again emphasizing this point of association. By advancement in the association of the devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Right? So just see, Prabhupada doesn't rubbish studying. Prabhupada in fact says that when one's heart is cleared of contamination, then real study begins. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. So Prabhupada closes this off by emphasizing that Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any material calculation, and proper Krishna understanding has its foundation in the association of devotees, not through mental speculation, not through philosophical speculation, but in the association of devotees. So now, before we begin the next chapter, chapter 9, there were two, okay, Balabhadra Prabhu, your hand is up. Oh, you were clapping, okay. Okay.
I'm appreciate.
All right, thank you. So there were two questions. Is Janmastami here? Because when she's here, she always has her camera on, even though she told me she's attending as a student and admin. And I see pretty much everyone else has their cameras off. Bhakta Elvis has his camera off. Isana Goranga has his camera off. Is Janmastami here? Base Africa? I can see you. Can you respond? If she's here, say yes. If she's not here, she's not here. It's fine. Is there any admin for this session of the Bhagavad Gita?
Hare Krishna.
Is Janmastami here? She's not here?
Janmastami is not here.
Okay. All right. So there were maybe Pranapriya, are you here? Do you mind playing the role of admin and helping out? Pranapriya. Okay, no answer. All right, who would like to help out here? We always need an admin for these sessions. Anyway, so there were two questions in the car park, and if I remember, there was one question was about Balabhadra Prabhu. It had something to do with chanting your own name, I think. And then the second one was by Purushottam Prabhu. I think yesterday we put it in the car park. So maybe let us start with Purushottam. Somebody is audio is giving me feedback here, so please turn your audio off. Hare Krishna. I'm getting feedback here. Somebody has the audio on. And I'll just wait until the person who has the audio on turns it off.
Balabhadra should turn off his audio.
All right, so Purushottam Prabhu, can you restate your questions? And so let's engage with it because it forms part of chapter 8. And then we can do that before we go to chapter 9. I'm going to turn my camera off for a second. Go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu, my question was about the association of devotees. I wanted to know what type of devotees we should associate with. And after learning their pretense and then hypocrisy, should we still continue to associate with such devotees? or what type of devotees should we associate? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you. Just give me 1 minute.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to you, my teacher, Dandavat Pranam to my fellow students. What's going on? Nobody's speaking again.
Just wait. Just wait for the teacher.
All right. Okay. So Purushottam Prabhu, please, my apologies. Can you repeat your question again? So we can engage with it now.
My question is, what type of devotees should we associate with after learning their pretense and then hypocrisy?
Right.
Should we continue to associate with such devotees or what? That's my question. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So, where is my phone? So what we are going to do is I am going to turn to the Veda base. Maybe we should all do it. Right, we'll start at the Veda base. The nectar of instructions. I know most devotees have it in their phone. Where is Sheesh Upanishad? No, sorry, a nectar of instruction. I apologize. And then we go to that famous verse, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadviyeta. So this is text number 5. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in the undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. And this is Srila Prabhupada's purport. In order to intelligently apply the 6-fold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnav. A Madhyam Adhikar has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyam Adhikar should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttama Adhikar, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttama Adhikar is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean, bereft, and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Rupa Goswami, the association of such a pure Mahabhagavat or perfect Vaishnavas are more desirable. And then I'll skip a few lines, a few paragraphs in the same text. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajya generally chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, yet they are attracted to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. So, firstly is that we need to understand that people are on different levels of spiritual life. That's the first thing. Different people are on different level in their spiritual life. And then we should also be very careful that in trying to solve the situation or the challenge, we don't blaspheme the devotees that we are trying to learn from. So fault finding is an important thing that we need to distinguish. So as Prabhupada, as you just read, that Prabhupada says you should be selective in your association. Understand that this material world is, everybody's in a disease condition. So this hypocrisy, this pretension that arises from within the initiated devotee who's trying to practice Krishna consciousness is not necessarily the devotee being cruel. It's conditioning. It's contamination of the heart. So devotees, it's not that devotees are always intending to be malicious, but they are conditioned, they are covered. So one should be very careful that, yes, you should, as Prabhupada actually in the Nectar of Instruction, he explains it, that one should be able to recognize these things, right? But one should not fault find, because you fall into a trap, then you become a fault finder. So rather, one should focus on one's own spiritual purification. And an important thing, we just read the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, how association is very important. Prabhupada said it like about 10 times in in like 2 paragraphs. He said it 10 times. The association is important. So the recognition that even the most imperfect of devotees is very special. Because you will not find anybody like a devotee in the material world. Even the most imperfect, the most impure of devotees is still special. And we can take association from such a devotee. So we should be very careful. We should be respectful of the efforts that the devotees are making, but be cautious of the pretense as well. Are there any, actually, maybe we should read something, no? About, in relation to this, actually. Let's see. Let me try and see if we can find something. Okay. I will read you, if you want to read along, let's go to the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. I hope this is the right verse. Oh, Krishna. Yes. A devotee who faithfully engages in the worship of the deity in the temple, but does not behave properly towards other devotees or people in general, is called a Prakrita Bhakta, a materialistic devotee, and is considered to be in the lowest position. Purport by Riddhananda Maharaj and Prabhupada disciples. Srila Madhvacharya comments that one in the lowest stage of devotional service faithfully worships the deity in the temple, but is not aware that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually all-pervading. In other words, he only sees Krishna in the temple, but not in the hearts of other people. This same mentality can be seen in the Western countries, where people commit all types of sinful activities in their homes and in the street, but then piously go to a church or a temple and pray to God for mercy. Actually, God is our home. God is in our home. God is in the streets. God is in our office. God is in the forest. God is everywhere, and therefore God should be worshipped everywhere by the process of devotional service at his lotus feet, as stated in verse 41 of this chapter. Anyway, I'll skip that. Srimad Madhavacharya explains that a Madhya Madhikari, a devotee in the intimate stage, sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, and therefore offers his love to the Lord. Such a devotee is a sincere friend of other devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids the atheists. Nonetheless, tat vashatvam na janati sarvasyam jagato pitu. His realization of the all-pervading feature of the Supreme is imperfect, although he does have a general sense that everyone is ultimately meant to be a devotee of the Supreme Lord, and he tries to use everything in the service of Krishna. Aware that everything belongs to the Lord, he may be bewildered by association with atheistic men. So you get the idea. Another symptom of the Kanishta Adhikari is that he is infatuated by the material qualification of so-called great materialistic persons. Having a bodily concept of life himself, he is attracted by material opulence and thus minimizes the position of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Such a Kanishta Adhikar, therefore, is disturbed if a second-class devotee criticizes the non-devotees of the Lord. In the name of compassion or kindness, a Kanishta Adhikari approves of the non-devotional activities of such materialistic men, because the Kanishta Adhikar is ignorant of the higher realms of devotional service and the unlimited transcendental bliss of Krishna consciousness. He sees devotional service merely as the religious aspect of life, but thinks that life has many enjoyable and worthwhile non-devotional aspects. Therefore, he becomes angry when second-class devotees who are experiencing that Krishna is everything, criticize the non-devotee. Madhvacharya says that such a person, because of his rudimentary faith in Krishna, is considered a devotee, but he is bhakti adhama, a devotee on the lowest standard. If such materialistic devotees follow the rules and regulations of daily worship, they will gradually be elevated to a higher standard and eventually become pure devotees of the Lord, unless they commit offenses against other Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada goes on and on. I mean, the purport goes on and on like that. So it says that if somebody is using, for instance, we're speaking about what pure devotional service is. I mean, I'm extending your answer now, the answer to other stuff. If somebody is using the others, things like birth, or criticizing African culture, criticizing black people or African people, then you know just based on this purport that the person is a Kanishta Adhika. They are not as advanced as they claim themselves to be, because they are judging everything on the bodily concept of life. So this is the idea of the Shastra, that when somebody speaks, we should be able to tell where we're at, first of all, but also so that we're not cheated. Because in this Kali Yuga, position is not equal to spiritual advancement. Right? Position can be an institutional position. Somebody can be given an institutional position by virtue of being part of an institution. And that's a wonderful service. But that is not equivalent to a spiritual advancement. Spiritual advancement, as we've been reading, is independent of any material calculation. It's independent of position, is independent of an ashrama, is independent of gyan. It's independent. And the answer is given also. I mean, Krishna has given the answer, and I've given you the answers before. And Arjuna also asked the same question. What are the symptoms of a self-realized person? How do they talk? How do they walk? And all those things. So just to tie it up, so we should always try and look at behavior through scriptural eyes, and also have a little compassion in our hearts that when somebody is hypocritical, it's because it's a disease of the mind, disease of the heart. And even, we should not fault find when we see it. We should have compassion, but at the same time, we should apply vivek, discrimination. We should not. We should keep our distance from people that will contaminate our bhakti. And this is not me saying it. We've just been reading it from Nectar of Instructions, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and so on. So this is the point of Shastric study. Balabhadra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
Yes.
A question concerning the question you just read just now. A question can be asked: if one is selective in association, if the advance is not associated with one who is not advanced, who have some who have some defect behavior, how can one who is not advanced become advanced? What is the use of association? This happens in the spiritual environment when the bhakta is left behind, failed to have good association by the senior one, so swept away by Maya in spiritual practice.
So I'm trying to understand. So you're asking, how is it when?
Can I repeat
you're
again?
Asking, yeah?
Can I repeat again? I say a question can be asked.
Yes.
If one, concerning the text you just read just now, one should be selective in an association. Okay.
Yes.
Advanced is not associated with one who is not advanced, who has some defect behavior. How can one who is not advanced become advanced? What is the use of association in this connection? This happens in the spiritual environment when the bhakta is left behind, fail to have good association by the senior one, such bhakta sweep out by Maya in spiritual life.
Yeah. Well, firstly, remember that everybody is, what is it? Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharata, right? Everybody that takes birth in this material world has a contamination. Everybody. When you take birth in this material world, there's contamination. There's a reason why we take birth. It's because we didn't complete something in our previous life. So that's the first thing. That everybody who's in ISKCON is in a hospital. Is in a hospital, right? And everybody in a hospital is trying to get better. And some people are relatively healthy, better healthy, more healthy than other people. It's very, very rare, it's very rare to find, I mean, the Shastra says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Gyanavan, right? There's a verse that the pure devotees are very difficult to find, but they're there. Pure devotees are difficult to find, but they're there. So most of us are in a hospital, in a shower, trying to clean ourselves. So that's the first thing we need to recognize, right? And secondly, as we just said, Prabhupada said 99% of association is within the association of devotees, spiritual advancement. Outside cannot be done. It cannot be done, because how can you carry Krishna outside? It's very difficult. I mean, when I'm in Lagos, I have devotees come to see me on a daily basis on how big a struggle it is. On how big a struggle it is to become Krishna conscious in Lagos. I'm not talking about. Somebody should turn their audio off.
Allah Badra, turn off your mic.
So you have devotees coming to, they cry. I mean, they cry to me. It's like, Prabhu, I'm trying to be Krishna conscious because I have a job, you know, I'm married or whatever, I have responsibilities. It's difficult. It's tough. It's tough. Some devotees move from the temple. They try to establish themselves. After 6 months, they run into challenges. So trying to practice Krishna consciousness alone in the material world is impossible. It's impossible. My Guru Maharaj once told us a story of one of his godbrothers who also left the temple. He was a brahmachari, you know, actually a sannyasi, and then he decided to change ashrams, and he wanted to live a peaceful, because he found, you know, there's too much challenges. So he wanted to find his own space to practice Krishna consciousness. And so whenever my Guru Maharaj was in America, he would go visit him. So he said the first 2 months were okay. He was very strong. The 5th month, he was strong. By the 6th month, everything changed. He was in Maya by the 6th month. Because the material energy is very powerful. So we have to try in the association of devotees. And in the association of devotees, like I just said, even the so-called senior devotees, they also may be struggling with something. Seniority does not equals to pure devotional service. It doesn't. Sometimes it does, but in many cases it doesn't. I mean, I remember in the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, I was still a young man, pretty young man, and I was thrust into leadership positions. I was made a head pujari. You know, you have like a young man in his 20s, he's a head pujari in charge of everybody else. And then a few years later, I was made into a temple president. I'm a young man, you know, it's like, right? I was put in a position I was unqualified for. So position does not necessarily equal to spiritual advancement. Even within senior association, we have to have this, especially in this age of Kali, we should have a sense of discrimination so we're not cheated and led astray. Because historically speaking, also in ISKCON, we know, you know, the 80s were a very tumultuous time in ISKCON, where we had some challenges anyway because of leadership, of people in leadership positions. So it doesn't mean necessarily because somebody is senior, they are spiritually advanced. And how do you see if somebody is spiritual advanced? It's there in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna answers Arjuna's question. What are the symptoms of somebody who's sober? How do they walk and so on? This whole Gita shows you how to identify the symptoms of somebody who's really tasting Krishna consciousness, somebody who's really pure. I can sit here and say pure devotional service things while my heart is impure and contaminated. It's the hypocrisy that Purushottam is speaking about. But the real symptom will be in my actual Krishna consciousness. So even though there's so many challenges, senior Vaishnavas may not necessarily be these pure devotees that we would like them to be. We should still be in the association. There's always devotees that are willing to give guidance to others. Like, in West Africa especially, you are very fortunate. You have the likes of Bhakti Damodar Maharaj there. Wonderful Vaishnava, very simple Vaishnava, right? Very simple. One of the things that devotees know me for it's very difficult for me to trust anybody because of my experiences in Krishna consciousness. Very, very difficult, right? I'm very, what's the word? I'm very discriminating in terms of who I speak to, in terms of revealing my heart and stuff. And I found Dhira Damodar Maharaj's heart is very simple. It's very simple. And somebody who has a simple heart is very easy to trust. Right? They're very simple. Just like Prabhupada was he had a simple heart. And by simple heart, I don't mean simpleton. Right? There's a difference there. Simple heart doesn't mean simpleton. I'm using simple heart in a sense of purity. Right? He doesn't carry stuff for selfish reasons, let me put it that way. And you compare that to many senior devotees that I've taken associate, and this is because this is a Shastric study, so I'm speaking in those terms, in terms of the Shastric study. And I've seen in my own personal experiences where, people living in robes are not as simple as other sannyasis, right? They are not as forthcoming as other sannyasis. They don't carry the sannyasa ashram as the sannyas ashram carry it. They don't carry the grihastha ashram as senior grihastha ashramites should carry it, right? So these things are there. This is the reality of the situation. It's not that, everybody who has a tilak on is an uttama adhika. We should also, as we've been reading, we should be able to distinguish between these without committing offenses to the Vaishnavas, without fault finding, but at the same time being real with the situation. So it's not that it's useless that you have senior devotees that are struggling with their own challenges and are finding it difficult to guide the younger devotees. There's always many devotees. Like, for instance, Yadunath Prabhu, my friend Yadunath Prabhu. It's a wonderful Vaishnava, right? He take time from his own schedule to travel all over the place with the young people to preach them. So you always have some senior devotees that have that pure heart, that are always wanting to help. So then we take association of those devotees, we take guidance from those devotees. So it's never useless. Is that okay, Balabhadra Prabhu?
Fine, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, what's the time now? It is. All right. Okay, so what I think what we'll do today is, because we have 45 minutes left. And what I want to do is, before we take a break, we prepare for Balabhadra Prabhu's question, because I said that we were going to attend to the questions that are in the car park. So we've addressed Purushottam Yatra Prabhu's question about pretension and hypocrisy. Purushottam Prabhu, was that okay? Satisfactory? Yeah, okay. So now we'll attend to using, of course, the same tools and technique, the same Shastric tools and the same Shastric techniques that we've been using, we are going to discuss Balabhadra Prabhu's previous question about chanting the holy name. Remember, what we are doing here is as you saw me when I was answering the question, I speak truth, I speak honestly, but I don't find fault with anybody. Unless I'm praising somebody, then I'll mention that name. But you don't find fault with anybody because this is not the purpose of Shastric study. The purpose of Shastric study is to discuss principles, to discuss ideas, to discuss intellectual stuff without singling people in, without putting people in a bad space. So this is the mood that we'll continue to discuss moving forward, and I'm happy that we are keeping the same mood. So also in terms of answering your question, Balabhadra Prabhu, we'll use the same strategy, the same techniques, the same guardrails, so that we don't commit Vaishnava aparad. Okay, so what I want us to do is, the first thing is we will, Balabhadra Prabhu, can you rephrase your question again? I know it was like about maybe 2 classes ago or so, but can you rephrase your question? And what I'd like to do is, whoever is the admin, Pranapriya, can you write down this question? And Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, what I'd like to do is during the break to work on creating 2 breakaway groups, two breakaway groups here. So that's, there's how many? There's 8, there's 9 people here minus Chaitanya Bhagavat. So there's like about 8, I mean Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, there's 8 of us, minus me, there's 7 devotees. So we can have 2 groups, 3 groups in one, 3 devotees in one group, 4 devotees in the other group. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. But what I want to do is just to make sure that we have the admin and that both Pranapriya will take notes and Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, that we will have some admin, will have ability to break into breakaway groups. I don't know.
Hare Krishna, I don't know how to do it though.
Oh yeah, it's here. I can see. Okay. There it says breakaway rooms. I'll try it.
Okay.
So the first thing we'll do then is Balabhadra Prabhu. Pranapriya, do you know how to work Zoom? I can't hear you.
No, Prabhu.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. All right. Anybody here knows how to work Zoom? All right. It's fine. I'll do it. So Balabhadra Prabhu, please tell us your question. And Pranapriya, please write down the question so we don't forget.
I repeat, chapter 8, text 7. Krishna said, you always think of me, refer to me. When you go to text 9, one will meditate on me, refer to himself. When one always remember me, that is text 14. That is for text 14. Then, so Krishna always refer to himself that at the time of death, one will think of him alone. Then what will enter to the kingdom of God. But sometimes some devotees are very devoted to the spiritual master. They think of the spiritual master. They think about they think of even. This is discussion between the 2 devotees. Say even our name is connected with Krishna. So we think of your name also, you attain. So this thing looks somehow. That's why I'm asking question. And Krishna said, remember me alone. Although if somebody remembers,
yeah.
If somebody remembers spiritual master, what of that one also? Or somebody, our name also connected with Krishna, like our spiritual name. So we call ourselves the spiritual name. So we can be conscious about that name. Also, it's a practice by yoga balina. It's constant practice of that name. That is why we are chanting, we are having spiritual names. So can that also help at the time of death also? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so the question is, if Balabhadra Prabhu, instead of chanting Hare Krishna, chants Balabhadra, 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 is he going to go back to Godhead since this is Krishna's name?
No, we are chanting the name already.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
yes, we are chanting this. Yeah.
Remember?
Okay. Yes,
Remember
yes, I got the idea. I got the idea. I think we got the idea. Thank you. So Pranapriya, did you get that down? So there's a question. So what I'm gonna ask you today is this, okay? I just make some notes quickly here. So there'll be two groups. We're going to do after our break. There'll be two groups. It'll be a short session, 20 minutes. Two groups. Now, group number A, right? Group number A, defend the following statement. So your task in this group A is to try to build the strongest possible argument that'll support your idea. So you have to defend this statement. And then group B, they will evaluate and refute the statement. So same thing also, using Gita or whatever the books that you've used. So in other words, group A will defend the statement that Balabhadra Prabhu said is made, that or at least one side, that chanting Balabhadra, Balabhadra, Balabhadra will take me back to Godhead because it's connected with Krishna, it's Krishna's name, so I'm chanting. So therefore it'll help me at the time of death. So that's group A, right? So group A is pro.
Sorry, I'm not saying chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You won't remember spiritual name at the time of death. Spiritual name, not chanting. We will be chanting, the person will be chanting Hare Krishna all the time. But at the time of death, he remember his own name or his spiritual master. Can that one attain the spiritual kingdom also?
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Somebody who remembers their initiated name at the time of death. Yeah. Or somebody who remembers their guru at the time of death. Yes, so that's the group A. And then group B, you refute this argument using scriptural instruction. You refute this. Okay? So now we have to see who wants to be in group A, pro. And so me and Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, when we come back from the break, we will move around to the various groups just to observe. Who wants to be in group A? Pro.
Dr. Arthur, group A.
Okay, Pranapriya, please write down these. This is what? Bhakta Arthur, group A. Balabhadra Prabhu had his hand up, group A. Who else would like to go to group A?
Bhakta is group A.
Bhakta Elvis, group A. Okay. And then, okay, group B, right? Who wants to go? The rest of the persons will go in group B, right? Pranapriya will be in group B. Who else is there? Purushottam Yatra Prabhu in group B. Raghupati Das in group B.
Raghupati
in group B, yes. And Isana Goranga in group B. All right. So what we are going to do is that we are going to discuss, so all the notes that you've had in your Bhakti Sastri from the first session of the 6 chapters to of the Gita, to what? You studied the next of instruction and everything else in between. You're going to use those tools to offer support. You're not going to, so you're not going to come up and say, no, I think it's true. That's how it is. That's what I believe. No. We were not going to work with belief. We're going to work with Shastric detail. So we'll take a 5-minute break until 1 o'clock my time, and then we'll come back and then we'll start the discussion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Where are they going to see themselves? Are you seeing yourselves? To discuss, because each group has to discuss first. Then somebody has to present on behalf of the whole group. Then the other group members will support with points. So
Who am I side? Who am I side?
where are you going to see yourselves?
Now.
Because there's a way to break them down into group, into different classrooms, and they'll be discussing among themselves without other people hearing them. I don't know whether he did that. Okay.
Who else in group? Write them down.
Or
That is in group A.
individually bring your points and we call upon you to support yourselves.
Group A. Answer now. Group A.
I'm not in any group, but I'm supervising the group. I'm the supervisor of both groups. So.
Group A talk now.
Group A.
Some B, some A, some A.
So how many of you are in one group? How many of you are in group A?
Bhakti Ato.
Bhakti Elvis, and Balabanda. Okay, you are in one group.
Why so Bhakti?
Oh, sorry. Only Balabanda for who? Sorry. Okay, let's not talk among ourselves. Let them concentrate on the. Bring out your points, because you are like 5 minutes or less than 10 minutes to bring out your points. Balabhadra Prabhu, mute your mic. Mute. Good.
Okay, so everybody remembers their group. So I'll create the breakaway groups. So I'll let you choose breakaway room. So okay, I'm going to assign the people already here. So in group A, who is in group A? It's Balabhadra. It's Bhakta Elvis. Who else?
Bhakta Actor.
Bhakta Atta, the three of you. Okay.
Also Bhakta.
And then
Also Bhakta.
the rest of them will be in so okay, so do you see a room appearing there? Raghupati, why are you still here? Oh, okay. So let's Atta, go. Bhakta Atta.
But I don't know since you know they see you, and I be appear.
What question have you
My
bring now?
phone went off. My phone went off.
Your
My phone went off.
hey,
No lights.
no lie, okay. But your camera turn.
Balabhadrah Prabhu, what question have you bring now?
You say
What question have you bring now?
I can't hear you
How
now.
you are
What
going?
did happen?
I think Prabhu has left too.
Everybody is leaving now. Huh? This is your one question. You see? Okay. See everyone next week. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Is
Prabhu
it
has closed the class, right?
Yes, now.
Yes.
All right.
He said
All
next
right.
week.